Hey guys, today we're gonna be doing a review of this Lighting Kayaks Strike. This is a budget kayak made in the US. It has really good things going for it, but also it has some not so good things. In this video, we're gonna cover all that. We're gonna give you our 100% honest opinion about this boat. And let's start with the fact that this boat is a pedal drive kayak, meaning you have your hands free to fish for the most part. It is based on the original Hobie Mirage drive design. This technology is about 20 years old, so it's not gonna be the smoothest of the fastest compared to the Hobie's newest drive, but more on that on this video. I wanna start with the good things. This boat is an excellent value at $1,800 MSRP. You get a boat that is made right here in the US of A, and not just the boat, but also the drive. They assemble the drive here in the US and they make this boat here in the US, and that's a plus. US made. A lot of things are going on right now, importing things from other places and going into trouble. You know, this thing is made here, so that's a plus for a lot of you guys, and I really appreciate having companies like Lighting Kayaks making kayaks here in the US. That's huge. So that's the first plus. Now, the second plus in my book is that this boat is surprisingly stable. The design of this boat has that tri-hull design. It borrows a lot from other companies' design, but I thought that it wasn't gonna be stable at all. Like, I thought it was gonna be whatever, but when I tested it, it is stable. I mean, it's kind of tippy, but then stop you. And I would say, I mean, it's not as stable as an SS127, but it's certainly more stable than a Pelican Catch 130, maybe about the same as the Hobie Outback 2020 version, 2019 version. So it is a stable boat that you're gonna be able to stand up and do your fishing, standing up, look for the fish, do all the stuff that you need to do. So on that is a super stable boat. Now, the other thing is, and of course we just touched on it a little bit, but for $1,800 you get a pedal drive kayak. That means you have your hands free to fish for the most part. You don't have to be fighting a paddle and fighting a fish. You know, you have your hands free, you just control the boat with your left hand, and if you get really used to it, it's gonna be like second nature. So that's huge. Also, this drive allows you to go in really shallow water. You could just paddle like this, not pedal like this, and you're gonna be able to get into those shallow spots. Also, it's better with grass. If there's a lot of grass, of course you can have an issue, but if you have light grass, you don't have to keep bringing that prop up. This thing is gonna keep going. So that's another major plus. The other thing is that this seat right here is not the most comfortable seat, but it's good enough. I wish it was bigger right here in the back, but it has so many multiple places that you could set it. You have super low position, you have high position, or you could go even all the way back. So you got like 3 different sitting positions for this kayak with the drive. Also, the drive, you could adjust it here, you could move it away from you, closer to you. I'll show you some b-roll of that. So you could do all that stuff. So the kayak having multiple setting positions that could adjust to you, like if you're a bigger guy, you're gonna be able to find the sweet spot. If you're a smaller person, you're gonna be able to get closer to the drive or get that drive closer to you. That's huge. Another thing is that it's loaded with fishing fixtures. You know, you got gear tracks right here in the front, in the rear. That means you could put rod holders, camera mounts, flags, whatever you need to, I love this gear track because they're highly adaptable and you could modify it to use whatever you want, even to the point of using the gear tracks to put a motor in the rear without having to drill anything on this boat. That is huge. Another thing is, look, you got flush mounted rod holders. Why this is huge? Because you don't have to buy any other accessory. You just get the boat, a paddle, and you go fishing. It's already ready to go, set up ready to go. You also have, if you like padding, you know, to not make a lot of sound, this thing has excellent padding. It's really comfortable and they look high-end, and it has that Lighting kayak design on it. Another plus in my book is that you can do other things to it. Like right here, you have one handle already set up for steering, but you could have a second handle. You could add a second handle easily, so you could have dual steering. Why would you need that? Well, if you are fighting a fish and you need to turn, you have your left hand free, you use your left. If you have your right hand free, you use your right. So options, that is a plus also that you could do that. Now, let's touch on some of the negatives that we have going for this Lighting Kayaks Strike. Number one, this thing is based on, pretty much it's been inspired by other kayaks in the market, which means it's not a unique thing. When you look at this, you don't look like a special one-of-a-kind boat. It looks like it was inspired by many other kayaks. I would say the original, not original, but the 2019 Hobie Outback, the Bonafide SS127. It borrows from a lot of those type of kayaks. I mean, nothing is unique in the market. Everybody gets inspired by other companies, even YouTube channels like mine or others. You see an idea, you say, you know what, I like that, I'm gonna make it my own, right? So nothing is original, but again, something like the Big Fish 108 that I have right here, it may have been inspired by something else, but at least it's different. You could tell that it's different, you know? Three Waters kayak, they have really good design. Not for everybody, of course, but they stand out. The second negative is this hatch right here is so big and large that if you flip, water may get in. This bungee cables, I don't think they're gonna keep all that water out. So that could be a problem. Another negative that I see here, it is a budget boat, so take that into account. It's $1,800, but I feel like it's not super refined. I think Lighting could have done more refines into this boat. Like the way that it was built, maybe have more like that high-end feeling that you will get from something like a Old Town kayak, you know, something like the Hobies, something like, it looks like they spend an extra 10 seconds on it, right? It is their first kayak, so I think we're asking too much, but still, I want to point that out that it doesn't look like it's super refined. It could be a more premium kayak. Now, that would cost more money, but hey, you know. This negative is not so much on Lighting or the kayak, it's on the technology. This is 20-plus-year-old technology. Compared to today's Hobie Mirage drive system, this is like really far behind. And the problem that you have with that is, one, it's slow. This boat is slow with this drive. If you put a 180 drive on this, you're gonna go much faster. And this is not just on Lighting kayaks. It also happens with the Pelican Catch series, you know, the high drive series, using the old technology. Now, Lighting is working on making this drive more efficient, faster in the water, so hopefully they do that. In the meantime, what you can do is you could upgrade the fin to turbo fins, and you do get a little more speeds on that. Let me go back to one of the positives, and it is that this thing, it paddles very well. At times, I found myself that I wanted to paddle the boat instead of using the drive because it felt like a nice paddling boat. That is huge in my book. If you get into really shallow water, or maybe your legs are tired, that you could just switch to the paddle and probably maintain the same speed or maybe go faster. That is huge in my book. I really appreciate that they thought out of this boat also, not just as a drive boat, but a paddle boat. Let me just grab this camera right here, and I'm gonna give you kind of like a little tiny walkthrough of it and talk about the specs and some other good things that I see that this boat has going for it. All right, so let's go. I will start right here with the paddle holders. You see, you got one here and you got one on the other side. Why is that huge? Because you could have your anchor pole in one side and you could have the paddle on the other side. And you see here, it has a little, the paddle or the anchor pole is gonna rest here. That is huge. Also, although I'm not a big fan of just, I think it's better just to have handles in the middle. At least you have these cavities right here that you could grab the boat and move it, lift it, go places. And I also like this kind of like open area right here, that if you don't want to have a seat, you could just put a cooler and use the cooler as a seat. That's really good. You got cup holders on each side. Also, you got transducer solutions. If you flip the boat, you have a place where you can put your transducer and be protected from the environment. And you could do all the installation, all the stuff. This hatch right here is a good thing to have, but the problem with this hatch is that for some reason, if water is coming out of the drive and you open this thing, water is gonna get in, so you gotta be careful with that. Now let's touch on the rudder. The rudder is very simple. It has an easy mechanism to drop it. I just drop it right here. For the most part, this works. This rudder, for the most part, it works. Now the problem that we have with our rudder is that if it's really nasty out there, there's a lot of current, a lot of stuff going on, it's not gonna perform as well as it should. So I know Lighting is working on that, so hopefully they fix the rudder. But for the most part, like 99% of the fishing you're gonna be doing, you should be fine. It's like anything. Like if it's really rough out there, dude, don't get out. Don't get out. Why risk it? You know, just be mindful of the weather. Don't go alone, and take all the precautions you can. You don't want to waste your life for a fishing trip. Just another thing that I like about it is that it has a nice handle right here in the rear. You also have access here to fix the rudder if you have a problem. I really like this idea of this bungee cable in the rear, just being able to just drop it down like so right here. There you go. So that's nice, because I mean it's easy. You just bring it up with whatever you need to and strap it down real good. So that's huge. And even though I say that this right here could be a negative, it's also a great thing. It doesn't come with a liner, but at least you could put a liner here, and you're gonna be able to maybe make it into a cooler, and you could store fish there or your waters and stuff like that. So that's nice. Let me show you some of that. Try hold this sign right there. Boom. Alright guys, so this is a different type of review. I pretty much went over pros and negative one after the other, so I hope you like that. I don't know, I didn't pull my notes out, I just went off whatever I had stored in my head. Now, in conclusion, this is an excellent boat for the price, $1,800. It's not gonna be hobby-like. You're not gonna get all the bells and whistles that you have on the Hobby Outback, but again, for that you need $3,000, right? So for $1,800, this thing is a buy, made right here in the US. I think you should get one if you're looking for this style, or you know, if you're not happy with this one, if you don't like this one, there's a bunch of videos in this channel covering every other single boat, and I'm fair. I give you the positive and the negative of all of them. It doesn't matter how I got the boat, whether it was lended to me or I bought it or a company sent it over. You're always gonna get 100% my opinion, and that's it. See you in the next video.